Tinker. Device. Grammy, come here. Come. Keep it. Come on, bud. So if you don't already have a bolster, you can grab a pillow, works just as fine. And also a block, and if you don't have a block, grab an extra pillow. It's just a kind of just in case thing, but it's nice to have a few things around just in case to help you get into a little bit more comfortable position. And we'll get started in just a couple minutes. Ready? All right, get some water and we'll get started. Hello, hello. Just give it one more minute. All right, let's get started. Okay, so welcome to Yin. We are going to take some time to slow down on this Thursday evening and stretch it out. So welcome in. And again, if you don't already have some stuff with you, grab a pillow or a block or a couple of pillows or even a blanket. You can kind of roll it up and use that too. So it's nice to have, not totally necessary, but might be nice when you get into a little position that you might need a little extra comfort in. So Yin will hold the postures for a pretty long time. We'll hold anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. And part of the goal of Yin is to get into some of that connective tissue and to really let the body start to let go and use less muscular engagement and more relaxation. And so that means that there might be some sensations that as we hold them for a little longer feel a little uncomfortable. Know that uncomfortable is okay. It's even good sometimes. Sharp shooting pain is usually a sign from your body to back off. So if you get that sharp shooting pain and you're like, what is going on? Back off, listen to your body. You are truly only know where too much and too little are. So if you need more, stay a little longer. If you need less, adjust as necessary, but just kind of riding that line between too much and too little, right? Little uncomfortable, it's gonna be uncomfortable. It's gonna feel good on the other side, so it's worth it. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and get started, and we're just gonna start by sitting up and taking a few moments to just connect to the breath and slow down the mind a little bit. And so if you have a pillow or a block or a little something that you wanna sit on, it can make this just a little bit more comfortable. And so we'll begin our practice in a seat. We'll take a moment to sit up comfortably, whether that's kneeling or cross-legged is completely up to you, and then start by closing your eyes. Take a few moments here at the beginning of your practice to lengthen your breath, and that length might go 1 count longer. You might have a little more room and go for a couple of counts longer, but take your breath longer, fuller, and deeper than you would normally. Or the sensations that disappear. See if you can start to notice with each exhale, a little more of your body starts to relax. Maybe this little sensation that runs through your cheeks and your face start to let go. With each long inhale and slow, steady exhale, your shoulders, even tension through your arms and your hands. Start to observe. And the more you lengthen your breath, can you notice your mind start to shift or change? Does it slow down a little bit as you start to slow down and pay attention? Can you rein it in? It's all practice. And then releasing tension on your breath, let it come back to normal. Trusting that your body knows exactly how much air to take in and release in any given moment. And then on your next exhale, release your right ear to your right shoulder. And just find a nice long stretch down the left side of your neck. If you want a little bit more, release your left hand to the floor. And if you want even more than that, start to walk your left hand off towards the left. You can take a little lift or a lower of your chin till you find your sweet spot, and then stay. We won't be here for super long, but long enough to let yourself start to relax. And so keep your breath long, full, and deep. Pay attention to the space that you can create here. Inhale, slowly come back through center. Take your time. Exhale as you meet back at the center. And then another big breath in. On your exhale, left ear to left shoulder this time. You can take your hand to your knee, and then right hand can release towards the floor if you want more. Even more, walk your fingertips off towards the right. Little fine-tuning moment till you kind of linger and stay. Keep reconnecting to your breath. Inhale, slowly come back through center. Take your time as you exhale. Comfortable. So there's no wrong way to do this. Just let your head come back, chin away from your chest so you create a nice long stretch down the front side of your neck. Your neck is most certainly made to look up and look back, and so create a little bit of space down the front side of your body. You can find more tension, more compression, or less. Just let it feel good. Pull your shoulders away from your ears, lift your chest. Inhale, big breath, come back through center. On your exhale, release your chin to your chest. You can take a couple of head and neck sways and then find stillness. Nice and slow. Release your grip if you took one. On your inhale, peel your chin off your chest. On your exhale, right ear to right shoulder, chin to your chest, left ear to left shoulder. Take a few head and neck rolls. Just circle and sweep it around a couple of times. No. Go on. Come here. Meadow really wants to play. All right, and then nice and slow, come back through center. And then if you're sitting on anything, you can slide that out of the way. No. Hey, leave it. Drop it. And we're going to set up for full pigeon. So you'll take your right shin and bring it parallel with the top of your mat. And then your left shin will stack right on top. So if it feels like a lot on the knees, go one leg at a time. So then right leg goes forward and left shin straightens out, and then you'll fold forward from here. But if your knees are happy and they're healthy, then you can go for both. And you're really looking to get your left heel really flush to the outside of your right thigh. And then same thing with your right foot and your left knee. So they nice little line. And it might be up super high, it might be down low, wherever it's at. You'll sit up tall, chest up, and then lean forward. And if you have a pillow, this is a great place to kind of like stack up a pillow and maybe fold from there. More pressure, less pressure is gonna be totally up to you. And then just let yourself come down as far as you can. We're gonna be here for a few moments, you know, a good little chunk of time. Do your best to breathe long, slow, and deep yet again. This is a pretty big hip opener, and so see if you can use your breath and your relaxation to let your body start to open up and release. Just a couple more minutes here. Just closing out your final minute here. And then nice and slow, start to back yourself out from wherever you came. Take your right leg and then your left leg out. Take it, do it on the other side. So this time you'll take your left shin in line with your mat and pretty much in line with your hip too. And then you, same thing this time. Right shin on top, work to square. Just like two logs stacked on top of each other. And then again, if you have a pillow or a block or something you want to use to help hold you up, and you'll just take some time to fold forward. All right, might be more or less than the other side. Just balancing your hips, creating some space, relieving some of that tension from sitting at a desk, sitting at a chair. Again, if this feels like a lot on the left knee, then you just kick the left leg out straight and fold forward. This will feel super good too. Do your best to kind of puff your chest forward and get your spine nice and straight. So as you fold forward, keep pressing your chest forward. Just keep checking in with your body. What kind of sensations do you notice? Do they kind of rise up and then fall away? Do they stay? Right? You might even notice things in your mind start to show up, memories you haven't thought of in a really long time. They get stored in the body, and when you stay in a position for an extended period of time, you can start to draw some of that stuff up to the surface. If you notice it, and see if you can let it go. Just closing out your final minute here. Take it nice and slow. Start to back your way out one more time. Lean back. Release your left leg and then your right leg nice and slow. We're going to set up for a full straddle. So you'll open up your legs nice and wide and fold forward. So if you feel like you're really tucked under and really round here and you just feel like you really can't go forward, you have a couple options. One, if you have a bolster or a pillow, you can kind of fold that up and sit on the edge of it. You just slide it behind you and just kind of catch the edge. And this will help your pelvis to tilt back a little bit so you can fold yourself forward. Otherwise, a block works really well too. I kind of like a pillow or a bolster just because it's a little bit softer, but choose what you have. And if you have nothing at all, you can still do this. Lift your chest, lean forward, take yourself as far as you can. With this one too, you're really working to get your spine straight, so keep thinking about pressing your hips back as you fold yourself forward. See if you can notice where the sensation of stretch that you find and let it kind of entrance you a little bit. Follow it. Does it travel anywhere? Do you feel it in one place, but also in a couple other places as well? Does it shift? Does it change? What happens to it? And instead of thinking, is this a good sensation? Is it a bad sensation? Can you really start to dig in and describe it? The more you know, the deeper you can go. So start to get really curious. Figure out what's going on in there. It's closing out your final minute here. Nice and slow, start to walk yourself up. Take your time as you back out. And then here, and then lift your chest. On your exhale, fold yourself forward over your legs. And again, you can bend your knees as much as you need to. Let yourself fold forward. So this might feel good. And you can totally stay here. You can also slide your heels a little bit more forward. And if you have that pillow or a little something, you can place that in between your thighs and your chest and then fold yourself forward. You might want to straighten your legs. If you have a block, you might use that in between and just rest your forehead. So take a moment to set yourself up, make yourself comfortable, and then forward fold. A couple more minutes here. Just one last final moment. And then kick your feet out to the right or to the left and come into a tabletop position. Stack your shoulders over your wrists, your hips over your knees. And then sweep your right arm up, open up. And on your exhale, thread the needle. Right hand slides behind your left, slowly lower down to your right shoulder. Release the right side of your head to the floor. And left hand can come overhead. It can sweep behind your back. It can stay under your shoulder. Find your sweet spot and then stay. Slowly bring your left hand back underneath your shoulder, plant your palm. On your inhale, sweep your right arm all the way to the ceiling, look up and reach up, little twist through your spine. And then exhale, release your right hand by underneath your shoulder. Let's take it to the left. Inhale, sweep your left arm up, look up, reach up. Use your exhale, thread your left hand behind your right, slowly lower down to your left shoulder, Take a couple of moments to find your sweet spot. This time, right hand can go out in front. It can stay underneath your shoulder or maybe wrap behind your back for a half bind. Just take a couple moments to let it settle in and then back to your breath. Closing out your final minute here. And then nice and slow, right hand comes back underneath your shoulder. Plant your palm. Inhale, sweep your left arm all the way up, look up, reach up. And exhale, release your hand back down to your mat. Slowly walk your hands forward and your legs back and come lying all the way down onto your belly. So we're gonna start with half frog, and you can relax your upper body whichever way feels comfortable. You'll bend your right knee up in line with your hip, and then your knee in line with your heel. From here, you'll just fold yourself forward and let gravity do the rest. So one final minute here. And then nice and slow, you'll just release your right leg long and go for the same thing on your left. Bend your left knee up, take your knee in line with your hip, knee in line with your heel, and then lay your chest forward and fold. Take the time to enjoy this kind of subtler stretch, relieving a little tension through the inner thighs, hoping to release your low back. Some postures are super sensational, full of it, in fact. And then other postures are a little more subtle, and none of them are inherently better than the other. They're all important and necessary and good. Sometimes it's nice to have a few more minutes here. Just closing out your final minute here. And slowly release your left leg long to meet your right. And you'll press yourself up onto your forearms and slide your knees forward till you hips are over your knees. Now we're gonna set up for frog, and so this might be a great time for you to grab that towel or a pillow, depending on what you're practicing on. And I'm gonna flip because I'm practicing on something that's a little bit harder. So we're going for full frog. So we did half right and left, and then this full variation it's a little more exciting. So you can come down onto your forearms, a pillow, or something underneath your knees, and you'll bring your chest a little bit forward so your hips are pretty much in line with your knees, and then you let yourself stay. Let gravity do the work here. Just take note if you're holding tension anywhere to, kind of back sensation off a little bit. See if you can let yourself sink. And the longer you're here, honestly, your body will open. It will start to let go. And you don't have to force it too much, but just keep paying attention. And again, the more you pay attention, the more your body will start to respond. Just working through some of that tension in your hips. Hips tend to hold a lot of it, so it's important to spend the time letting them go. All right, nice and slow. Start to press yourself up, back yourself out. You can bend your heels in close to your glutes and then press into your hands and push your hips back slowly. Walk your knees together. And then you can kick your feet out to the right or to the left and come laying on your back. Take your time to lay all the way back. And then you'll bend your knees into your chest and send the soles of your feet towards the ceiling. Open up your feet a little wider than your shoulders and bend at your knees. You'll set up for happy baby. So you can take your hands to the outsides or insides of your feet, ankles, or behind your hamstrings and pull down and in. When you're ready, just one final minute here. Just a few more breaths. It's a little traction on your spine, so work your spine flat to the floor. Think about pressing down through your tailbone. Just reversing some of that rounding that happens all day. And then nice and slow, release the grip that you took. Take a moment to send your feet all the way towards the ceiling. You can relax your feet. Just let your legs stretch all the way up. You can keep your legs just like this with your hips on the floor. If you have a pillow or you have a block, you can take this little modified version and you'll pick up your hips and just slide the block underneath your low back. And then let your legs go up towards the ceiling. So supported legs at the wall or candlestick. And just taking a few moments here, letting some blood drain into the base of your body. And just take a few moments here. Slowly bring your legs forward towards your head to lift your hips towards the top of your mat, and then lift your hips and slide the block or pillow out from underneath your hips. Bend at your knees and place the soles of your feet flat to the floor. Take your arms out nice and wide. Pick up your hips, shift them over towards the right, and pull your knees into your chest. Let your knees fall off towards the left as you look over your right shoulder. So take a moment to make sure your right shoulder and shoulder blade are connected to the floor. Then you can give yourself just a little extra by placing your left hand on top of the outside of your right thigh and look all the way over your right shoulder. This way you get a full cervical to lumbar twist, really helping to reset the spine. And it also will intensify the sensation of stretch, especially if your low back is starting to bother or feel a little tender from all of the sitting. Then this is a really great way to kind of get that nice articulation through the low back, especially because the cervical spine and the lumbar spine are sympathetic curves. So you get this nice little like pearl, twisted pearl action happening. Doesn't need a whole lot of force. Just all of your breath. Take your time and slowly bring your head back through center and then your knees. Place the soles of your feet flat to the floor. Press through the soles of your feet, lift your hips, shift them over towards the left edge of your mat and pull your knees back into your chest. Let your knees fall off towards the right this time and then look over your left shoulder. And if you want to take your right hand on the outside of your left thigh to give it just a little bit of extra, take that here. Notice if your left shoulder is lifted way off the floor, see if you can start to roll it back down. Sealing off your practice with this twist. Nice and slow, start to walk yourself back through center. Place the soles of your feet to the floor. Shift your hips back through the midline, in line with your shoulders, and then give your knees a little squeeze. Pull your knees into your chest. You can take a little rock or a little sway. And then when you're ready, release your legs long. Open up your feet. Open up your arms and relax back down into your mat. Take just a couple of moments here at the end of your practice to let gravity kind of do the work. Notice here the work that you did. The time that you spent on your mat, the time that you spent in posture, the time that you had set aside for you to show up. And then you did. Notice the space that you created and how exceptional that space feels. Give yourselves a little love and a little thank you for showing up and giving yourself your own attention. I think that showing up counts. It matters. And no matter how much you give, no matter what, it counts. So give yourselves a little gratitude, a little love, a little credit for showing up and giving yourself your own attention. So thank you all so much for joining me in practice this evening. It was my privilege and my pleasure. Thank you, thank you. We'll see you again tomorrow morning, bright and early, for a little 26 and 2. So if you want to get up and wake up with a nice morning flow, we'll be here. Hope you guys have a great rest of your evening, and I'll see you all super soon.